Okay, great. So we are live. So welcome to our fourth wellness session for musicians. My name is Francesca Leo, and I'm joined today by Jessica Koebbe, a pianist who has her DMA and other degrees in piano performance. So I am the chair of the Puerto Rico Flute Symposium Wellness Committee, and Jessica is also on this committee and the chair of the Puerto Rico Flute Symposium Collaborative Piano Institute. She specializes in helping teachers learn how to address performance anxiety and adopt mindfulness practices in their private teaching. She teaches at Mid-America Nazarene University and is the founder of Mindful Music Pedagogy. So our previous sessions have addressed the relationship between the body and the brain as it relates to breathing. All sessions are archived on the Puerto Rico Flute Symposium's Facebook page, as well as playingwithoutpain.com and mindfulmusicpedagogy.com. If you're a music educator and wish to share this video with your students, we also offer the recorded Zoom session, which you can find on YouTube under Playing Without Pain's channel. We welcome viewer interactions as we broadcast today, and we also welcome any questions you may have. So feel free to comment, and we look forward to dialoguing with you. So today we'll be looking at performance anxiety and how breathing can help alleviate symptoms to enable a more confident performance. I'll get us started off with some research. Performance anxiety is super common in musicians, with 24 to 54% of all musicians having experienced some form of performance anxiety throughout their career. However, performance anxiety can show up differently in every person and can cause different underlying symptoms depending on that person's individual background. Musicians that suffer from underlying sources, such as generalized anxiety disorders, panic disorders, phobias, PTSD, or depression may be more vulnerable to developing more severe symptoms of performance anxiety. And the stress you're experiencing in your life at any given moment can also contribute to increased symptoms of performance anxiety. So musicians in general tend to be more vulnerable to developing conditions such as generalized anxiety disorder or depression as a result of high-pressure performance situations and intensive career paths. Intense perfectionism and severe self-criticism, traits that are common in musicians, are associated with vulnerability to severe depression. In a study referenced in the Essentials of Performing Arts Medicine course from the Performing Arts Medicine Association, 26% of orchestral musician participants reported having a form of generalized anxiety disorder that interfered with their performance, and 71% of orchestral musicians in this study suffered anxiety and panic attacks. In another study referenced in this course, 48 to 50% of US musicians expressed recent symptoms of depression, which is notably higher than the average percentage of the general population. Treatment of underlying sources, such as anxiety and depression, is an essential component of treating performance anxiety, as performance anxiety, or stage fright, is often a symptom of underlying conditions that are triggered when your body is under extreme stress or pressure, such as the weeks, days, or moments leading up to a big performance or audition. If you experience performance anxiety, it is recommended to see a medical professional to discuss your symptoms and possible methods of treatment. Other things you can do to manage your performance anxiety include doing breathing exercises, which we will demonstrate shortly. You can keep a performance journal to note your symptoms before big performances and learn how stress affects you personally. And you can also work on radical acceptance, as mentioned in last week's session, and implementing positive self-talk as a regular part of your practice and pre-performance routines. So now I'll turn it over to Jessica, who will be citing some more research on this topic.
Yeah, there are a number of theories as to the persistence of anxiety among the general population, and I thought I'd take a look at one of those today. One is the idea that a person's childhood environment has a significant impact on their ability to handle stressful situations as an adult. So did a little digging on that, and according to Dr. Tamar Chansky, who is an author and co-founder of the Children's Center for OCD and Anxiety, A child who's gone through a traumatic event is twice as likely to develop some type of anxiety, depression, or behavioral disorder. And Dr. Chansky found that 15 to 20% of children and adolescents will face a significant traumatic event in their childhood, and that approximately one half of adults with anxiety disorders cite that their symptoms began in childhood. So these types of events can be things like illness, accidents, death, divorce, instability in the home, at school, bullying. These are all factors that impact a child's stress levels, which can in turn affect their ability to handle stressful situations in other areas of life, especially if they're not given adequate coping strategies in childhood. Then those patterns of anxiety and then the unhealthy reactions to stress will continue. So kind of linking this to education a little bit and then to music, there's also this idea that the environment in which we learn, and therefore as musicians the environment in which we perform and practice, has a significant impact on our ability to learn. Tim Patston and Margaret Osbourne did a study on music performance anxiety in school-aged children. It's titled The Developmental Features of Music Performance Anxiety and Perfectionism in School-Aged Music Students. And they found that private music teachers have a significant impact on both the development and the alleviation of music performance anxiety in their students. So basically saying that one of the strongest figures in a child's musical education development in terms of either helping to create their performance anxiety or alleviate it is their private music teacher. So a quote from their study is this: preliminary research in this area indicates that teachers do have a significant role to play in facilitating anxiety and perfectionism in their students. Increasing the ratio of positive to negative comments in a lesson, affirming rather than criticizing progress made, providing realistic goal setting, and providing students moments of pleasure rather than punishment in a lesson should lead to less anxious and less perfectionistic students. Such an approach is preferable to the bias towards strong negative feedback in the traditional music lesson setting. So I thought what we would do today as we do this breathing exercise is take a moment to think back to your musical experience as a child in lessons and in performances, and even maybe in the practice room. And think about, were those generally positive experiences and memories? Negative? Think about what kind of impression do you believe those early musical experiences made on you as a musician today? Obviously, there's nothing we can do to change the past, right? But what we can do is be cognizant of our past experiences and our current thoughts and behavior patterns, and just observe and think maybe if we are struggling with some unhealthy reactions to stress and anxiety, perhaps there's something that caused that or impacted that before. And especially if we are music educators, how can we create environments in our lessons with our students that will help them develop healthy coping strategies for their stress? So during this exercise today, which is going to be a deep breathing exercise, I'd really like for you to think about that. Think about those past memories, those past experiences, and I'll provide a little guidance as we go through that. But just as a reminder from last week's exercise, just the reminders that deep breathing has these benefits. One is that it builds lung capacity. Great if you're a wind player, right, or singer. It reduces anxiety, which in turn reduces pain. It improves our focus, relaxes our muscles, and it transmits more oxygen to the body. And all of those things are critical elements in reducing the body's negative response to stress and anxiety. So we're going to do a deep breathing exercise here, and I'd like to encourage you to either stand or sit. And as you do so, draw your elbows back a little bit. Just open up the chest. Allow that to expand. Let your arms either hang at your side or place them on your lap. And you're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, Hold it for a count of 5 and exhale through the nose. We're going to do 3 cycles of that, and then I'll guide us from there. So inhale, hold, exhale through the nose, and let that exhale fully leave your body. Then inhale through the nose. Hold for 5. Exhale through the nose. Now inhale through the nose. Hold for 5. And exhale through the nose. Now as I talk, just keep going in this rhythm that you've created. Possibly close your eyes. Go at your own pace. But as you're breathing, think back to some of those key memories you have as a student. Try to be an outside observer of them. Don't engage in the emotions of them, but just remember and think possibly how those experiences subconsciously shaped the musician that you are today. It could be that you had incredible teachers and positive experiences, and that just fed your love for music. And as a result, you love to share that joy with others, you love to perform, you love to teach. It could be that music was an escape for you from other unhealthy environments, and so it was a safe haven. And because of that, you really cherish and respect the space that it holds in your life now. It might have been something that you really didn't think about much, just came naturally to you, you were good at it, and it just made sense to travel down that path, and here you are. You might find yourself reevaluating what you want to be doing with your life as it relates to music. Possibly you had some negative experiences with it, maybe some embarrassing performance moments, maybe some teachers that emphasized shaming over encouragement, perhaps other peers who were less than encouraging, and those voices stick in your head. We always have the choice as to which voice we're going to pay attention to in our internal dialogue. Is it going to be the negative voices, or is it going to be the positive voices? Is our motivation one of love and joy for the music? Is it one of continuing patterns that we hadn't realized were patterns, but that got established early on because we were imitating what we were trained as? Whether that's good or bad, we're drawing awareness to that. And then in these next few breath cycles, think about what kind of musician and teacher you would like to be. Maybe that's exactly who you are now. Maybe there's something about your process that you would like to see change. None of these things can have an answer in this moment, but sometimes taking a chunk of time to sit and mindfully breathe and observe and remember gives us clarity for the next steps that we have facing us in the future. So now we're going to wrap up with 3 more cycles. And you might recall last week we talked about the ujjayi breath. That's a great focusing tool, which is just the sound of the of the air as it travels through your head and your throat, your body, using that as a focusing mechanism. So inhale, hold for 5, exhale. Last one. Inhale, hold for 5, exhale. Okay, so that's what we had planned for today in terms of the research and exercise. Thanks for joining us. All of our previous sessions are archived on the Puerto Rico Flute Symposium Facebook page. You can also find them on Francesca's site, which is playingwithoutpain.com. You can find them on my site, which is mindfulmusicpedagogy.com. And also, if you have a comment or question, please drop it in the comments section here and we'll address it in future sessions. So stay tuned. We have 3 more sessions planned for the before the end of the year, and so there we go. Okay, and so we are going to be shifting now from the connection between breathing and our bodies, and breathing and focus, and breathing and anxiety, over now to this looking at the connection between anxiety and our physical bodies. So Francesca will be leading us through some of Don Green's research in that field next week, and we'll begin to do some exercises that target progressive relaxation for the muscles. So we will see you then.
Thank you.